Drop a like and do share. Leave your comments and do not forget to subscribe for more videos.
Hello and welcome to Edupedia World.
Welcome to SAP UI5 training session. In this training session, we're gonna see how the table control is created in sap.m.table. So how we're gonna do a table control? We have to go to INDEX.HTML, and in this INDEX.HTML, we have to do SAP UI5 tutorial 1. We have to do dialog O-table example. So once I do O-table example, I have to go to web content, and inside this web content there is SAP UI5 tutorial 1. We have to right click this and we have to create new other. Then you'll get type SAP. When you type SAP, you'll get SAP UI5 application development. Inside this we have application project and view. So once you click the view and say next, and XML view I'm going to create, and I'm going to give O-table and say finish. Once I say O-table finish, this is how the default O-table controller and O-table view was created. So inside this content, I'm going to place my O-table. So how I'm going to do? I'm going to do a go to Internet Explorer, and then in this Internet Explorer, I'm going to go to explore example sap.m.table. So once I load this, so we want to do a similar kind of table. So once we do a similar kind of table, so it's loading still. Yeah, this is what we want to achieve it. So there's a product, supplier, dimension, weight, and price. So like this we want to display. And as the code is already existing, we'll make use of that code. So this is a table, so we're gonna use the same thing. So I already have the code. So this is a O table. So inside this table we have formatter and etc. So I'm going to unzip this. So extract all to table. Yeah, once I extract, I'll be using this. So in this O table, I'm going to right click and it will open in this, and in this content I'm going to place all this. So whatever the table content is there, I'm going to place that. So this table content, I'm going to place it inside my table content, and I'm going to save. I do save, then save it, and then what I do is I'll go to the controller. In this controller I don't have anything. I'm going to place the same thing from this O-table controller. So in this onInit function, I'm just copying the model. So I'll go here, I'm going to onInit. So in this onInit, I'm going to place this O model. So I'm getting it from the model. So I'll be changing the location here. So model, and save it. So once I save, I'm setting up to this model, this view. I'm going to save it, O-table, and this is what I'm going to do, a formatter. Then in this we need to have a formatter. So where we have a formatter, inside this there is no formatter, so we have to write a util folder, and inside this SAP UI5 1, and we have to place a util. So file, now first folder, inside that folder you can have util. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to say new and folder util and say finish. And when I right click the folder and I say new and file, and it will be getting a formatter.js, and I'll say finish. Inside this formatter I need to place first jQuery dot declare jQuery.sap.declare sap.declare. Inside this declare you have to declare your name of the formatter, that is SAPUI5 tutorial 1 and then .util .format. So I'm going to save this. After saving, we have to write this over here. We have to get equal to function, and this function always open and it will be closed with a semicolon. So inside this we have to write our function name. So this name should be coming from this formatter.js. We right click, say this, and then we'll wait. So we can use a function like this, or else you can use, if you are using function, you have to write a complete thing, or else I can directly use an object. So in this formatter, and this way is an object. Okay, so there's a name, an object. I'm going to save it. Now I'm going to run the application. And this is my model. I'm going to run this application. I'm going to see table is not called from the index.html. So this is index.html and table. The changes are not made, and once we create the formatter, we're gonna require this in the controller. This controller we have to require. Place it. jQuery.require we have to do. And save it. And we're gonna press F12 and we're gonna run this application now. Once we run this application, and it is giving one error. There are two errors and one warning. And see, SAP tutorial table example.view.xml is not found. There are errors. So we'll go and check what are the errors. table view.xml. So we have errors here. So what errors we have is, so this content we don't have anything. We'll go to this index.html. It's table example, right? We have given table name. So the names will be very much, we should be consistent with the names. That's the reason. Once we refresh it, this comes with the title, but your content is not displayed. So we'll be seeing the inspect.element. Inspect.element, it says one error saying that there is some 404 not found error occurred. So we'll go there and we'll go to XML inside this page we have this, right? So we'll not use the page. So page is an aggregation for, yes, exactly, it's an aggregation for app. So we're gonna remove this and save it. And once I refresh it, the table comes but with no data. So we want the data inside this, but it is not loading it from the product registration. So product registration P is capital. So we'll go there and refresh, and it is not loaded properly. And we go there and refresh once again. We go to console and we go to view.xml. So here we'll be removing the path. Collection. And we're gonna save it. So we'll go to network tab, and inside this network tab you have to do Control F. So once you do Control F, you'll be adding product.json. Click on this, so it will be open. So product collection. Inside this product collection we have this type of data, but this is not setting up. So why it is not setting up, we'll see that. We go to routing example, and we'll go to O-table controller. Inside this controller we have placed a model and we are setting up here, and we'll see what is happening. So inside the view we are binding it. This is what we are doing, but okay, we'll put a breakpoint and we'll see what is happening there. So we'll go to source. So once we go to source and we go to O-table controller, so once you go to controller and refresh, once you refresh, it will go to this controller and we'll check the O model. What is O model? So O model, and inside this model you have to have a data. So I'm clearing the console now. I'll check O model dot get data. So once I get data, there is no data at all. Once I say fresh, it is not coming. So what could be the problem? Is collection so what we have to do is we have to remove this single quotation. As I already told you, there will be a certain things which we have to follow. When I say items, there shouldn't be any single quotes inside this. That's the reason it was not proper. Now the data should come. Now we'll remove the breakpoint and we'll say, see, the data had come. This is how it is. Now this is the UI, right? I want to change the UI, so little bit to the latest one. I'll check the F12. In F12 I'll go to console, and when I say console, sap.ui.version, and I'm checking, it is 1.20.7. so what I'm doing is I'll be doing it to the latest version. So how I'm going to change to the latest version is I'll be using this new resource file. So how we're going to do new resource file? I'll go to index.html. Inside this index.html, I'm going to place before this a latest one. That is https sapui5.netviewer.ondemand.com/sdk. So software development kit resources, I'm using it, and once I use it I have to clear the cache and have to do it. So Ctrl Shift and then clear cache, and we'll be doing it. So once I refresh this, then it will be loading it from the, see here, UI is changed now. Earlier how it was, now it got a new UI. So this is how the new UI looks. Now the dimensions, we are not getting the dimension values. So why we are not getting values, we will be seeing that also. So we go to otable.view.xml. Inside this we have dimensions. So there is width, one second, the weight is coming 124.67 G, but this value is not changing the state, so it is not going to this formatter then. So what we have to do, SAPUI5 tutorial 1 dot util, you have to use it, and once we refresh, the state is not setting properly. We have to clear the cache and we'll try, and if it doesn't work we have to be putting a breakpoint inside the formatter and we'll see. Maybe the formatter is not called properly. So we'll go to sources and we'll see the util.folder. Yes, the formatter is called, and inside this formatter we have this state. So we'll come here, refresh whether it is going to the formatter or not. We'll check. And still loading. It takes some time to load because we have given an external URL. It is not going inside this, so we have to use this name, SAPUI5 tutorial 1 declare. I'm going there, SAPUI5 tutorial 1 util dot formatter. So here it is a formatter, the same thing we have used, but it is not going. I think it is, we have to use the same. So when it comes to formatter, see, we have used the same name. This is how it is, sap.m.list, the same name you have to use inside this. We'll be using the same name here. Ctrl C and go to XML and paste it here, and then save it. And this dimensions will be seeing only 1 for now, and then we'll see why it is not coming. So we'll go here and empty cache and clear it. So once we clear, it is still loading. Once it is loaded, you will be seeing C. It is not coming into this only, so wasted. Once I refresh, it's not. So to refresh, so it is going to the console, the sources, formatter, we'll put if there is an error. Once we are refreshing it, it should go to that error. So this is how we use try and catch method. So it is coming out of this, but it is not making use of it. Okay, in this formatter way state, we are passing this value and we are doing it. That's okay. And way measure we are doing, that's not a problem. And the problem is with the O table control. Inside this control we have require SAP.jQuery require. So why it is not coming is we have to go to index.html and we'll check. So in the bootstrap file, whenever we are using formatters, we have to include a complex binding that is missing over here. So what we have to do is we have to add a complex binding. That is how we do data SAPUI/X binding syntax equal to complex. This is very important. So you save it. So whenever you do a complex binding, that time it will be used. And even when you do a wet, we'll copy this first and this measure also. Okay, this also works when you have used a complex thing. We'll go there and try to refresh now by clearing a cache and hard reset and close it. And then it will take some time because it is loading from the external resources. So once it is loaded, see the dimension had come and even the weight is changed. So this happens when you use complex binding. So whenever you use a complex binding, that time you have to make sure you include in index.html this kind of code. So it's complex SAPUI/X binding syntax equal to complex. Clear? So this is how the table is. So we can have multiple columns, and inside these columns we have rows.
Thank you for watching Edupedia World. Stay tuned for more videos.